All right, mister, let's see what I can help you with today. All right, yep, first thing, he is pretty heavy, but a lot of what he's doing, he's anticipating my next move. So it looks like he's light, but he's actually more or less anticipating. He's pretty heavy on that hand there. So what I'm gonna help him do first here is maybe get, right there he reacted to my leg pretty heavily. Okay, so what I'm gonna do when he reacts to my leg, so now we have heaviness on the hand and overreaction to my leg. Those are two things. And what we're doing today is we're gonna try to figure out where his issue with getting scared and bolting is. All right, so that's what we're working on, is figuring out where his issues are. So far, heavy in my hand, I don't like that. Way overreacting to my leg there, so I'm gonna just keep my leg on him. Okay, I'm just gonna keep that inside leg on. Still keeping it on. Still keeping it on. I don't even have my spur. That's just touching him with my calf. When he slows down, watch this. I'll slowly let my leg off and set him down. I'm gonna take him on this side. He's already distracted. Put this leg on, and I'm not gonna be shy about it. I'm gonna put that calf right on him, okay? Because I already know, just by feeling him right off the bat, is he already overreacts to it. I'm gonna keep that calf on him. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to do, is kind of take that hair trigger out of him. Okay, I know a lot of Arabians come with that hair trigger. All right, but they don't need to react out of fear. And if they come, if they're fearful of that little touch, they're gonna come shooting out from underneath you. So he's very active-minded. I see him looking all over the place. What I need to get him to start doing is looking back to me for safety, comfort, leadership, and responsibility. We're starting right here at the beginning with safety and comfort. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is move my legs back and forth on him. Move him back and forth. See how that worked him up? He thinks leg means go. He's going faster and faster. I'm just going to hold on. I'm going to keep moving my legs. Let him run in this little circle here. Just keep moving my legs back and forth. Wow, what an overreaction to those legs. All right. Now he's not that old either. He's only just a 4-year-old guy, so you mean. But we need to get some of this spook and hypersensitivity out of him. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Move my legs back and forth. Man, he's just out of his tracks there. Back and forth. See if I can reach back and rub him a little bit while I'm moving my legs around. Scratch on him. Yeah, he didn't like that when I reached for his face. I'm gonna do it again. Scratch on him on that side. Just pull him back over here. Oh, there he goes, out of his tracks again. Reach for him and pet him. Pet him back here. Put him up there. Yep. Didn't like that too much, but guess what? You have to be able to tolerate that. Okay, we're preparing you for real life. Things are gonna bump you in the head. Things are gonna bump you in the sides. People are gonna flop around on you and lose balance. You gotta be able to tolerate that. Okay, get my legs going again here. Give him a little more of his head. See if he can tolerate that. Right away he's trotting. I didn't ask for a trot. So I'm just gonna keep my legs going, doing goofy stuff, bouncing around on him. Put a little bend on him, rub on him. A little bend there, rub on him. He may be high energy, but he doesn't want to be crazy. They don't want to be crazy. They prefer to have that sense of safety, that sense of comfort, that sense of leadership, sense of responsibility. So with me moving my legs around like that, that makes him feel, at the least uncomfortable, maybe a little unsafe, because he felt like he had to take off. So I'm going to do lots and lots of that. And, some people might say, oh no, you're scaring the poor thing. Like, yes, I am scaring him. I need to figure out what's scaring him so I can fix it. All right, if you don't address it, you're kind of an avoidaholic. Or you avoid the void, tiptoe around, and you never make anything better. All right, so you can guarantee I will pick and prod and poke and figure out what I need to help the horse with. So absolutely, I'm going to figure out what's not working. I'm going to fix it. Don't mistake energy with fear. He took off like that. He was a little fearful. All right, energy is not bad. If he was just kind of an energetic horse, which he is, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. That's who he is. Move my legs around some more. Okay, there's a little less suspicious of that. I'm letting him have his head more while I bounce around like a fool up here. Okay, while I walk around on him like I've never sat on a horse before. Okay. But there, that's feeling better. I'm gonna just sit quiet and just ride him. Ride him for a minute, let him think, blow in there. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. I'm blowing like that. Okay. And he's a high energy horse, so you know, a lot of times relief to a horse is going to be moving out a little bit. It's not always sitting still. They're not people. It's not, you know, if I can allow him to move out and move his feet and trot, as long as he's being thoughtful of it, that can be his reward. Sometimes it can feel like pressure to a horse to have to stand still. You know, and they all have to be able to do it at some point in time. It's just, you know, there's a sequence. You have to know the animal you're working with. And you have to know what you're focusing on too. Right now I'm focusing on teaching him to be more brave with me being up here doing silly stuff. I'm not teaching him to stand still. You know, for a horse like this, or for any horse really, if I come out and start picking at every single little thing, okay, it's gonna be, they're gonna be overloaded in their brains. They're not gonna be able to focus, and you'll never fix the problem. You just pick 1 to 3 things depending on the horse. Sometimes it might be just one thing. Sometimes it might be 3 things, but that's all you do. And you don't just do that for a day, it might take a week. If you're a green horse person, if you're green at these concepts, it might take you a month. But I'm working on teaching this horse to be brave and confident, because that's the first hole I found. All right, he was heavy, and when I moved, he was scared. So that's the first thing I'm gonna address, not stand still. Pick and choose your battles. When's the appropriate time? All right. Moving around on him. That's good. Okay, now I'm going to ask him to trot out. And while we're trotting, I'm going to do the same kind of a thing. I'm going to dance around on them. Now when they trot, when they're moving out a little bit, okay, the energy goes up. Same thing with a canter. You know, their energy goes up, so they're more likely to get excitable. Okay, so moving around like I've never ridden before. Just doing some goofy stuff up here. Take them around to this side. Do some goofy stuff. So before I ride off into the sunset, you know, I want to test some things out. And, you know, really see what may or may not be working. We're going to ride him down here. He's kind of suspicious about that gate right there. Well, can I redirect his focus to say, well, you know, you don't have to focus on that gate, because that gate, or whatever's out that door, whatever you think might eat it, you know, you're not going to get safety and comfort or leadership looking out that door. All right, so I'm just going to continue with my goofy stuff here. And I'm also going to stay focused on where I'm going. And he might bolt. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm looking for. But I want him to learn to come back to me. All right, I want him to learn to find some confidence in what I'm telling him here. There, I'll slow him down by that scary spot. Good. You know, and I started to establish that over there when he was acting goofy. All right, we didn't get to the scary spot in the arena yet. I just wanted him to learn that, or to be confident, just with this weird commotion going on up here. Oh, I'm going to be really active, very active with my legs, maybe overactive than I normally would be if I was riding a real nice broke horse, or overactive with these legs. You can see, you might even see me thump on them a little bit, you know. Oh no, kicking so bad. Yeah, prepare your horse for real life. Kick, 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 kick. I want to make sure he's not going to react to that. Thump, thump, thump. Yeah, he's getting a little high-headed and bouncy, so I'm going to take a little outside support on take a little inside support on the outside and keep thumping him until maybe we can teach him thump means stretch your head down and relax. Okay. But again, you know, on these hypersensitive horses, can I actually, you know, without totally taking that sensitivity out, but you kind of want to desensitize them a little bit, and then as their confidence grows, put that sensitivity back in there. You know, it's silly to think that for all horses. You should just be able to touch barely with your leg and have them come off of that. That's something you might hear a person without much experience say. Maybe they have a lot of experience with just a couple horses, right? Maybe they haven't ridden enough horses. Maybe they haven't ridden a touchy one. But that's a really silly thing to say. And also, you know, some of the heaviest horses that I ride that break down the soonest in life have the lightest touch on them, but they move terrible because they've never been suppled up with reins and with proper leg use, without proper aids. You know, so there's a way to ride bridleless or just off your weight, absolutely. But there's a way to do it that can prolong the working life of your horse, and there's a way to do it that can shorten the working life of your horse. So I'm doing lots of goofy stuff out here, and he's doing lots of blowing, lots of relaxing. I haven't asked him to canter yet. I will. We're going to get to that here because I just want to test all this out. I want to find the issue, figure out where it's happening. Something else that can really bring up a lot of anxiety in a horse is if you're too task oriented. And right now, since I'm still digging for a lot of issues, we're just talking theory. I'm looking. But if you're too task oriented, you focus on task, you will not help an anxious horse. And I think you could all see when I first climbed on him, this horse had some anxiety, but now he's stretching and blowing and relaxing, and I can take him wherever I want to go. But being too task oriented can oftentimes inhibit or hinder your progress. All right, when you focus too much on the task and not enough on what does this horse need. All right, this horse needed, when I climbed on, he needed some support. He needed some confidence with my aids. Okay, so he figures out my legs aren't going to hurt him. Me being up here, nothing to be suspicious of. Something I noticed too, he relaxes in motion. All right, pick and choose your battles. I'm not going to have him just stand still and sit and sit and sit. Maybe bottle that energy up. Okay, and that'll be a lesson for another day. But too much in one day, again, you just overload your horse. Okay, I'm going to start using some leg to direct him. Notice there I put leg on to direct him. He sped up a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna just hold him a bit, rate him back until he steps over, and I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna rate him back, step him over a bit, sit him down, rate him back, step him over until that rhythm in his feet stays the same. Then I'll set him down. I'll set him all the way down. Okay, I have little gives when he gets when he gives me a good try, little gives in my hand, but he'll get that big release when he comes back to that same tempo that I went into the maneuver with. Now, right there for this hot, you know, he's a pretty high energy horse. He just decided to slow down there. All right, and that was by the gate that usually scares him. He'll bolt from that gate, from what I'm understanding. And but he decided to slow down past it as we rode past. So I'm not going to get on his case and say, no, get up there into that trot. All right, he did a pretty brave thing there. You notice every time we go by, he's still eyeballing, but he's not scared. He's still eyeballing the construction stuff. Right there, he popped his head up at some noise going on in the panels over there. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm just going to say, what are you going to do? If he's going to jump and bolt, that's fine. I'll set my reins down, and after a few strides, I'll pick him up. If they jump and bolt and you hit him in the face right away, you know, a lot of times that can work against you. Well, he just popped his head up. I just sat calm and he put his head back down and came back to me. Doesn't always work like that. I'll tell you right now. I'm happy when it does. All right. Now we're going to dabble in the canter a little bit. Okay, I want to make sure too, you know, I don't get too task oriented. I already talked about this. If say you're working on a cantering program and you get super task oriented about getting that low, man, you might just build up a whole bunch of anxiety in your horse because you're not really taking care of what that horse needs. Right there, he's getting impulsive. So I'm going to take that inside, and impulsive means the emotions are coming up. I'm going to address that. I'm going to take him on the inside, support on the outside, and he's starting to tip over a little bit there. So I'm going to hold, Step him laterally over just a little bit. Hold. Step him laterally over until he can come down. The walk is nice too. I wasn't aiming for the walk, but since he chose to do that walk, for this particular horse, that's acceptable. If it were a different horse, different case, I might say, hey, get up there. Get up into that trot. But, again, I keep saying this, know the animal you're sitting on. You have to adjust for every single animal that you're riding. They're all different. Good boy. All right, so it's also good. He's starting to find relaxation at the walk. That's closer to a standstill, right? He chose to stop there, right here by the gate. I didn't ask him to do it. Now, something I have been doing is every time he's been riding towards the gate is I release pressure off, because I know this is a scary spot for him. All right, this is where a lot of the issues have been happening. And again, I have not been riding this horse. Someone else has been riding this horse. So I'm going off a lot on what I see and what I hear. But I'm very aware of what I'm trying to portray to the horse. What I want you to find. It's not, and for him, I'm finding it's not task, it's comfort and bravery. Be brave. Safety and comfort. And then find leadership up here with me. So if something makes you nervous, you can start looking to your rider. All right. Safety, comfort, leadership, and then responsibility. The stages of release. Your first release, it's a horse with a new, if you're teaching a horse a new task, if you're introducing them to something new, if something's making them nervous that day, maybe they already know what you're doing. All right. The stages of release is first. They don't even have to get the task right. They just have to release with the new thing I'm introducing, or relax and be confident with the new thing I'm introducing. All right. Release. If it took some time, put him away for the day. All right. So think of right there. He cantered on his own. He threw his head up. I'm just going to rate him back. I'm not going to get on him or anything. He's not being bad here. I'm just going to wait for him to come back to me. He's not allowed to go without me. But yeah, the stages of release. First, can you do it while they're relaxed? Then can you release when they mentally commit to your idea? Then you release with quality of task. And then last but not least, you release with ownership of task. All right, so that really opens the door up for never-ending improvement. But you never release at the expense of losing your horse's confidence in what you're doing and the purity of what you're doing. Confidence and relaxation, mental commitment, quality, ownership. Ownership of task means you set the task up, your horse does it without you. Okay? You don't do that without quality. Otherwise, you have... I heard my friend Jake say this once. He said, if you put horse crap in the blender, it doesn't make a smoothie. Okay? So you end up with a horse crap smoothie if you don't have that quality. And that's what I was talking about on the start. Bridleless riding done poorly. My horse might be going where you're wanting it to go, but it tastes like a horse crap smoothie. It looks like one. Good. I love how light those transitions are. We're going to work in that canter again. Notice as I'm working towards the canter, I haven't been task oriented about it. Okay? Just been, what do you need? So we can release you today with relaxation and purity. And that feels great. That feels great. I couldn't be much happier with that. He wants to keep going. I rated him back a little bit. He says, I'm feeling good going forward here. I'm going to say, okay, we can do that. And again, today, for this first session, you need to pick and choose your battles. Today is about relax. Today is about be brave. Today is about be okay with me being up here and doing goofy stuff. So I'm not going to get on his case about he didn't hit that transition right when I said, because I don't want to overload his brain. And I guarantee if I'm consistent with that for 3 days in a row, we'll be able to move on to the next thing. And 3 days is a lot sooner than 2 months in a row of throwing too much at him and wondering why you're not getting anywhere. Right now he's wanting to walk. He's finding comfort. You know, there'll be some people without much experience. You know, there's horse people out there who go, yeah, well, he's just tired. Okay, and again, that's speaking out of inexperience, because you cannot cause an unsafe horse to feel comfortable. All right, if he didn't feel safe right now, doesn't matter if he's tired or not, he'd run. It doesn't matter. You can't make an unsafe horse feel comfortable. Say, well, you're just tired. Well, you haven't been around enough horses. You know, yeah, he may be getting a little tired, but they can still spook and be tired. They can, if they don't feel safe, they'll run 100 miles an hour, tired or not. Yeah, he's trying to take that lead right there. Yeah, it wasn't too bad how he did it. Now if he gets a little impulsive and fast, he's blowing right there. He's relaxing. And then I'll rate him back a little bit. But he's driving fairly nicely off his haunches. Feels really good. I've got loose rein. You know, loose rein's different to everybody. I don't feel his face, but if I take up on him 6 inches, I can feel his mouth. All right. The more finished a green horse is, or the more finished a horse is, the more I'll give him all the rein. Now this one, he seems to be liking his head so low, and I'm not going to drop my hand. I don't want him stepping in that rein. And you know, to me, on headset and that kind of stuff, if a horse is stretching out and their eyes below their withers, you know, it's up to the horse how much he wants to really stretch. If he wants to put his nose way down like that, that's fine. The reason I encourage that is because when it comes time to collect them, if I can get them reaching to the ground, or at least reaching forward and towards the ground, it's much easier to pick them up and bring their eye up to their withers, bring them to vertical, and have their back go up towards the ceiling instead of down towards the ground. All right. If you don't have that stretch, and you bridle them up and bring them to vertical, what you usually end up getting is a really tight back, and you see really overdeveloped chest and neck muscles in the horse, and that's a clear indication that your horse is not only too heavy on the forehand, but also arching their back when you bridle them up, or when you eventually collect them up. So getting that top line going the right way is really important. But he needs to be done right there. He didn't bolt one single time. He didn't get nervous since I started over there flapping his legs, and that's been his main issue. So he needs to be done right here. So we'll wrap that up. All right, I hope that stuff is helpful. I hope you guys take these concepts, you practice them, you get them working with your horses, you go out in the world and you lead by example. All right, so I'll see you guys next time.